Yes, Heather, deep, deep sea breaths like a
Yes.
crab. We are
Yes.
breathing like crabs. We are crawling to that cancer finish line.
Uh-huh.
Crab crawling our way to the cancer finish line. Folks, listeners, how we doing? Because if you're in the feels, you're just in the right season, our friends.
Uh-huh.
You're just in cancer, right, Heather?
Indeed. Indeed.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
lately when I
commotion.
think cancer, I think of that. Now I'm the one bringing Taylor Swift up all the time.
Please, it's an addiction, a blessing and a curse.
What's the line in Lavender Haze where she says, you never really read into
Oh,
my melancholy.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, that is so her Cancer moon. The
Yes,
don't
her
read into my
melon.
melancholy.
Like the fans make a joke. I think we've maybe already talked about this because I've for sure probably already brought it up. But like the Swifties love making a joke that like Joe like, and it's only since like the breakup. It's not
Yeah.
like they were doing this when they were together, but like the fans just have like a joke about Joe, just like not because he's not listening. He's just like not there, and like and the joke about him being like poor because she's like but all the guys in their expensive cars with the Range Rovers and the Jaguars. She says Jaguar like the Brits do.
Oh,
Yeah, that's I always was like, why the fuck does she say it like
yeah.
that?
Like,
And
what
I
are you
learned that
doing?
it's like the accent she's doing an accent.
I
Ugh,
see. Okay.
disrespectful. Anyways, but like people have jokes about him being poor because she's like, and I'd marry you with paper rings because like he can't afford a real
Oh
one.
my God.
Anyways,
What a
but
joke.
yes, her Cancer moon continues to pop off, and she just released a scathing breakup song finally about him.
Oh, I need to
Well,
listen.
that we believe to be about him. Anyways,
Right, right.
it was the breakup song everyone wanted and needed. Anyways, it's called "You're
Mm.
Losing Me." We digress. But yeah,
Oh,
we're in the Cancer melancholia.
Melancholia. Great
But you know
movie.
what, Heather? Thank you so much. Thank you. I did it. No, but there's a lot of commotion, a lot of feels. We're in the water. And I think again, in its very cancer ness way,
Mhm.
cancer season is like uh, it's a I think it's a sneaky little punch that sneaks up on you. Sneaky little crabby claw punch that just kind of chomp sneaks up on you because cancer it like, spends a lot of time internalizing and
Reflecting.
in reflecting. They're, while they are a deep and emotional sign, I think, and we've talked about this, like, unlike the way like Scorpio is like maybe not always so expressive with their emotion, but they have a shell in the sense that they get a little darker, a little more
Mm-hmm.
withdrawal, and then they're going to hold on to that forever. I think
Mm-hmm.
Cancer is a little more like, I'm going to process that later, but I am going to process it.
Yeah, yeah.
And there might be like a delay, but it's not from a place of like maybe grudginess, the way that Scorpio kind of more has the
Mm-hmm.
rep of, or like the where Scorpio can fall, but I think Cancer can detach, like they can just like a hermit crab detaches and
Right.
finds a new shell. Like it's almost like they can detach um from it until they're ready
Mm-hmm.
to process it, and then Pisces just doesn't have an option.
Oh my God.
Or like just
No
like
option.
experiences it. But my whole point to that, Heather, is that like it creeped up on me a little bit,
Yeah.
the cancer delay of being
Yeah.
in the feels,
Yeah. Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And I think that also, Cancer is all about obviously feeling and being very in touch with your personal emotions, but also nurturing yourself and how to provide the comfort of your mother to yourself. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, I've been hearing a lot in reference to Cancer, this idea of like falling in love with your needs. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, like what you
Wow.
need to feel emotionally good, like really accepting that
Wow.
and loving that is something that I struggle with. But like yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately and thinking like because that is such a Cancer thing. It's knowing what you need to feel good and then really
Acting on
embracing
it.
that and acting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in that, and like you said, in a nurturing way. Like,
Mhm.
I think that's something that like society sucks in a lot of ways, but one of the main ways is like it's just not, I know we're not necessarily the boomer generation by any means, and like no offense to them, there's a lot that out of their control perhaps,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like we get it, not trying to start a fight,
Yeah.
but like it's still new, this like talking about mental health, and it's not something you're taught in the classroom or school. It's not something that, it was like, no, that's not like a real subject. And like we wonder why our generation gets to like adulthood and it's like ooh, how do I take, like you have to almost, there's a learning curve, I think, for our age, and especially like, and again, I don't know if I'm extra reflective because it's Cancer season and I'm in my
Mhm.
Saturn return, but like it took me a while, and it still takes me a lot of practice to mother myself. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
trying to
hard.
sound like, like you just I think it takes a minute to realize like, oh, there's still an inner child in me, and she
Mhm.
still requires attention and love and care and nurturing.
Mhm.
And also, oh shit, when I do that, look how good like I feel as my age now. Like
Right. Right.
it's like yeah, it's something I think our generation and the younger generation, Zoomers and whatnot, are like still slowly integrating. But it's hard when
Yeah.
it's like we were never taught that, and then so you spend like your 20s, I think, sort of learning that.
Yeah.
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 Anyways, that's just so interesting that you say that, because I recently also have been like, there's little fun like little romanticizing of the life hobbies I have like on
Mhm.
my list. And I've been feeling in like, I don't, it's the summer air as well. Summer's
Mhm.
kind of like a playtime energy,
Mhm.
that I've like been like, yes, I want to I want to try to make these like weekly points at least to be doing to play with
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
little one-on-one time with little me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting too that so Capricorn is the opposite sign of Cancer, and we're approaching the Capricorn full moon very soon, and like Cancer represents the mother, Capricorn represents the father archetype.
That's right.
And I'm feeling like something I'm realizing now this Cancer season is I think part of how I have to mother myself at least is to take on that Capricorn. Like I think it's almost like during Cancer season, I'm feeling like I have to like father myself a lot too,
Mm,
also. Or that's like a source of like nurturing, is to be responsible for yourself and to take
yeah.
care of shit and to be a little earthy also.
Yeah.
Um
Damn, you're hitting points with me, Heather.
I'm glad. Sometimes I think I'm just talking and
No, holy shit. Because as you said that, I was like, that's so funny how I just literally recorded into the podcast how we got to take moments to play, because I also had a moment of like, all right, shit's got to get together a little bit. We're going into
right.
the summer. Like, I don't know. Like, and just
Yeah.
like, it was funny because in my own mind, I was like, bitch, you're acting like you didn't just father yourself. Like, that's just funny how you say it
Right.
in that way, like that more masculine energy, which is a little more on the logistical side and like more of like a quote unquote responsible, because I do still think it is still classified as a responsibility to give yourself playtime in that
Mhm.
feminine energy, because it's like, as we've learned, feminine energy sometimes in a masculine like structure, it's bad for business. You need that
Right.
balance of both, and to mother and father yourself, so to speak. What a beautiful revelation, Heather. Thank you for
Mhm.
reminding me of that.
Ah,
And
you're
it
welcome.
truly hit me on the fucking head. Slap me upside the head like a parent would.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm
Not
glad.
the,
Yeah,
not the younger parents, I hear. I got spanked. And you can come at my mom for that. And Drew. Oops, I shouldn't have
oh
named
my
names.
god.
Kim and Drew absolutely spanked me. And you know what? Miranda absolutely had it coming. I'm not trying to say they didn't, but I do understand now that we don't spank. Because
Yeah.
anyway, we digress. Go on, Heather. Go on.
I was gonna anyway. Yeah, I feel like honestly we don't think enough about how each as we enter a new season, it's not just about embracing the energies of that season, which we can't help but do because the energies are literally flowing
It's
through
like the
us.
the environment you're just in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's always an opportunity to find balance in whatever axis of energies we're dealing with. So in Cancer, we really are dealing with Cancer and finding the balance between Cancer and Capricorn, especially when you consider that every season we have a new moon in one sign and a full moon in the opposite.
Yep.
So yeah.
Interesting. That's so interesting, Heather. And I know that real quick too, while we have a nice little pause point here. I always mean to get to it sooner, as you know. But listeners, it's I know we had admitted to y'all in a past episode that we had to sort of record a little bit ahead of time. But fortunately for you, we're back, baby. We're on schedule. So it's so nice, Heather, being like back and recording and really being in the same week and like the same energy that we're discussing on the podcast. I'm going to be totally like honest. I'm not embarrassed to admit it at all, that like I do feel like I was almost like I was as the listeners know, I was vacationing in Europe. I was there for 2 weeks, and maybe I didn't fully say that. Whatever. Please. But it was like I was on Europe time and I was on vacation time. And so there was almost like, I think because we weren't doing our podcast for like 2 weeks, I almost got a little like, where are we in the energy? Like,
same.
I didn't, I do realize there's so many times I realize how much like I selfishly get so much benefit from this podcast and doing it with you, of course. And like, obviously we're biased. We hope the listeners feel the same. But like, I really was like, well, bitch, no wonder you feel all wishy-washy and extra emotional too. And just sort of like off because like we didn't have our recording like checkpoints in like we normally do. And it's just so nice being back and being back in the energy and like really feeling what, like, not that we didn't feel what we were talking about before, but just like really coinciding. Yeah. Anyways,
totally.
Wanted to just like say that. And you're the astrology queen of our dreams, our little Miss Know-It-All, our little Hermione Granger of the Aquarius signs and the astrology world. And it's me, Ron, and madly in love with you, following you around off the edges of cliffs if I must. Miranda. But yeah, we're back, folks. It's so nice to be in this energy, like I said. Yes, but to also just tie that in, I talked with you about this a little bit off the record, Heather. But like, I'm captivating, and I think we all should, but I know not everyone's going to get there. We need to captivate European energy. Okay.
Yes.
Like, Paris is a major city. It was my first time going there. It was so magical and special. And what was so funny is that I was listening. I had downloaded the My Favorite Murder, like their latest, like a few podcast episodes to listen to, like on the plane, whatever. And the one that I like listened to right before we were about to head out, Karen and Georgia just had a little podcast break, and Georgia went to Paris, and Karen went to Italy, and like they were just talking about it. And I was like, that's so funny. And then another thing that happened that was just kind of like, again, everything is not coincidental, folks. The universe is always tapping her little fingers. She's maliciously evil, cutesy laughing. It's not vindictive. She's just, she's watching you think you have anything figured out. And that's the whole point, right? But like, we were looking at our passports, Sam and I, and the last time he flew to Europe was like 8 years ago. And he flew into Paris, the same airport that we flew into, on the exact same date. They stamped it like his passport right next to his Paris one from a few years back. And it was the exact same. He got in on the exact same date. Isn't that wild?
I have chills. That is so insane.
It was just so wild. And
holy shit.
So that was like also kind of like another like, nothing's coincidence, is it? Like, I don't know. It was just, that was really funny to me.
Wow. And 8 years, 7 years is a Saturn cycle. It takes Saturn 2 years to travel through a sign. That's interesting too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Heather. Yes. And again, to tie it all in, like I keep trying to do, that I'm failing at. I'm back, baby. But like, just I want to be on Europe time. I love, like, I just like, Paris is a huge city. It's a huge metropolitan. and it's still like a quarter of like the population of New York City. And the, you know, this, like, again, I don't know, I was only there for a few days on a trip, but like I was really shocked at how relaxed I felt there. I guess I thought it was going to be more of a, you know, New York vibe, and I'm sure in some parts it is, but it was such a magical little breakaway from reality. It was a nice little like vac- like summer vacation right before this official start of summer, and like it really felt like it was the timing of it all just really made me like, I want to bring this energy back. I want to remember this energy, cultivate this energy, like how good I feel, how relaxed I am, while I can still like be in a proper headspace for creativity, for, you know,
Yeah.
just mental and physical well-being and health. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Totally, totally. Yeah. I felt the same way while I was in Norway. I think you were telling me you had an experience where you uh like sat in front of the Eiffel Tower and cried. I had that
Oh, yes.
experience just looking at the water in
Yep.
Norway, and not because I was depressed. I was depressed during that time, but like out of gratitude and just like
Right.
an intense feeling of peace.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking that that's way more difficult to capture here. But you're
Yeah.
right. It's we can take life into our own hands, and yeah.
Well, in this age of Aquarius, sort
Hmm.
of uprising time
Yeah.
too, Heather, like, I don't know, listeners, and again, I'm sure it's because I engage with the content, but maybe our listeners are seeing it too. Maybe you're seeing it, like, so I'm just seeing so many more people talking about the age of Aquarius and sort of like
Yeah.
this time, and in the way, and like people understanding it's like a time for up leveling. Um,
Hmm.
it's a really exciting thing to sort of just manifest that type of energy. And
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know, it was like being in Paris felt like an up level in a lot of ways. That's like different from the lifestyle of America, I think. And again,
Yeah.
love my country, she's flawed. I'm not afraid to criticize her and point
Right.
out her flaws, but again, I do that with love. It's like I want so much, I want to change for the better. And I just, it's so funny how the Eastern culture a lot, I don't know how our Western culture feels like it is slowly but surely catching up. And
Yeah. Hmm.
it's just, yeah, it's a fascinating time. It really is.
Definitely. Definitely.
And I was reminded recently by my trip that like timing is never coincidental. And
Never.
even though I was feeling really lost and wishy-washy, I like reflect now on my trip and like realize how aligned that was with like the going in the Gemini shift into Cancer, and like
Hmm.
being here now, and just so much of what you said. And listeners, I hope you feel it too. My God.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sorry, Heather, please.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, something that I've been thinking about in a larger like astrological movement sense, moving into Age of Aquarius and Saturn moving through Pisces and stuff, is that I work at a theater, and something that is very in my face all the time is this thing that's happening. Theaters are closing. Like the Mark Taper Forum is closing for a year. A lot of theaters in LA in the past few years have closed down. I want to say like almost 20 theaters.
Oh, wow.
And it's, yeah, really heartbreaking to me and scary. And I don't think it means the end of live theater by any means. But it's weird. It's like cause yeah, I think that to me, like COVID brought our attention a little bit to this Aquarian need for community.
Yeah.
And yeah, the work-life balance thing. And then now I'm thinking like, what's happening with the theaters closing? Theater is such a
Yeah.
like community thing to me. Like we get together and in a physical, building
Right.
and watch live
Right.
performance together. It's yeah, I don't know.
No, I totally, that's really interesting. I did not know that about, I guess I maybe should have known that about like theaters. And like I know that a lot of theaters closed down like here during 2020. Um but I'm wondering, do you think, Heather, it could be like, again, maybe I'm just not paying enough attention of what's going on in New York. But New York feels almost a little bit like people couldn't wait to, if you were cramped in a tiny apartment and you couldn't even get on the subway for a while because it just wasn't operating.
Yeah.
And so literally just getting around was so much more difficult, and like just being cooped up in a tiny little apartment. Like I almost wonder if like live shows and like things here are almost more like amplified because of the nature of the city.
Yeah,
And I
for
wonder if
sure.
like LA, you got to experience a little more freedom because you have your car and yada yada. Like
Right.
I was there during peak COVID. I was like going to the beach every day because
Mm-hmm.
traffic was a breeze and I just could.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you think it's like LA specific, or do you
I
think it's
do.
like
I hope it. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me that New York theater is thriving in the aftermath of
but I also
COVID.
don't know
But
if it's really thriving. But I do
yeah, it's hard
just
to say, I guess. But LA
well,
is
it's something I'm going to
struggling.
be paying attention to now though. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Listeners, call in.
Yeah. Also, Miranda, sorry, I'm really taking us all over the place, but this submarine
Please.
that went down
Holy
to
shit, Heather. The Titan.
I've been trying to figure out what the astrological symbolism is with that, if there is any.
Well, there's just been so much sort of bullshit with the ocean. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that killer whales are like boats are having to like multiple boats this has happened to.
Mm-hmm.
Killer whales are like in their pods, in their little families, are coming up to boats and ripping the rudder off the boat, which a lot of times ends up piercing the boat and the boat ends up sinking. And they've never seen this sort of behavior before. This has never happened. It like happened once and then it's like it's now continuing to happen. And the theory, it's like we're literally watching evolution in real time. And they're so smart. Killer whales have like the brain of a 16-year-old human
Right.
or some shit they compare it to.
They're amazing.
I love killer whales.
Mm-hmm.
Blackfish changed me. I won't walk into SeaWorld ever again. You best your ass. You
Yeah.
best your ass. You best believe your ass and cheeks if you think I'm walking into SeaWorld again. And honestly, kind of changed. Like, I don't go to zoos anymore because of blackfish. It really
Zoos
affected
depress
me.
me. Yeah.
It's so sad. Yeah, I can't unsee it as like, you're right. This is barbaric. Anyways,
Mm-mm.
but I love killer whales. They're so cool. They've been one of my favorite animals because I fucking grew up going to SeaWorld all the time. But anyways, and yeah, our generation was raised on Free Willy. Like this is what people keep joking about, where like humans are like, I'm on the ocean side or I'm on the side of the killer whales with this one because and people were like, you can't raise a whole generation on Free Willy and then expect us to be defending the boats. But like
Yeah.
it's yeah, they think that a older female whale got injured by a boat rudder and has now like learned to like she attacks the rudders of the boats because that's like the thing that clipped her or hurt her, because
Whoa.
they don't like when these boats like sink. I don't know if humans have had to like really go in the water if they get people out in time, but like so far humans haven't been harmed or anything. It's like it's just they come after the boat and they think this older female whale, this is how fucking smart they are, has like been teaching other whales, and
Yeah.
it's like it's spreading like like it's like she's teaching all the fucking killer whales in the ocean, or like it's getting taught. And like and it's just interesting. And then I don't know if you saw too, like there's been so many shark attack things because that kid jumped off that cruise ship or that like whatever, that like party ship in the Bahamas. And the theory, and it's like on video and it's horrific, but like the theory is that like it looks like he gets pulled in by a shark, unfortunately.
Whoa.
Jumps in at night, like during prime feeding time.
Mm.
And he was like dared, he's a kid, but you can drink in the Bahamas at 18, so he's, I think everyone's like
Yeah.
drunk and underage anyways. But
Wow.
there's just been a lot of like, we need to stop fucking with the ocean trending things.
Yeah.
Like people are
Interesting.
like the ocean's had enough of us. The ocean's sick of us.
Right.
And
Right.
I've been really, and then this happened with the submarine, but I was already like fascinated and obsessed and like going down so many rabbit holes with the killer whale thing. And then
Yeah.
also just more shark attacks or just more shark encounters. But like I think it always feels like that when one big one happens. Anyways,
Right.
but like I just been getting in like the content I been engaging with, I continue to get repeats of these. But the submarine thing and all this added bullshit with like the ocean's kind of getting rowdy, it's getting a little chaotic. Like
Yeah.
I have been absolutely wondering astrologically what the fuck's been going on.
That's
Wild.
super, super interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. It's real. I mean, we are in Cancer season. Like the
Saturn's
submarine thing
retrograding
happened.
through Pisces.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big one because it's Saturn's a slow planet and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac and it just started retrograding. It's retrograding till November.
Mm.
That to me has significance, but
God
yeah,
damn.
wow, we need to stop fucking with the ocean.
I agree. And as a Pisces, I don't fuck with the ocean
Oh my
because
God.
I feel like I just know in my cheeks that she is not to be fucked with.
No,
She's
absolutely.
Mother Nature is powerful and the ocean is she's she's like one of Mother Nature's favorites.
Yeah,
Like,
totally. I consider myself pretty fearless and like I would do like most like daredevil-y like things. Like I'm not afraid of heights. I would skydive, like whatever. But oh my God, when I watch like Survivor or The Challenge on MTV and there's like I'm like I would do all of this and then they're like you have to swim to the depths of the ocean and grab this flag and then make it back up and pass it to your team member. I'm like, that's where I'm out. I can't. No.
she doesn't play games.
No.
Yeah.
Don't do the sea.
Yeah. And the older I get to, the more and more I'm just like, I respect her. I'm gonna stay out of her.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. Like I love the beach. I love the ocean, but I don't like to go too deep. I just feel like I don't know. I and like never was that interested in surfing. Never was really interested, like even like boating always kind of gives me anxiety, but like a calm lake with no alligators, I could float in that all day. And like I'm very respectful in that water. That's where I know my bounds. But like the ocean is a force of literal nature. It's I just I don't know. It's really weird how much stuff has been going on with it. And don't even get me started on the aliens in Vegas, Heather. We'll touch on that later. Did you not hear about this?
Are they working at Lisa Vanderpump's new restaurant?
I do think they put their applications in. There was like it's one of those things. I don't think we can prove it, but more and more, again, it's the content I engage with. I have to stop.
No, I love this. But tell me.
More and more like alien sighting things apparently are like coincidentally happening.
Yes.
And the theory is that they're not coincidence. We love the aliens. And the theory is that they're not coincidentally happening, that it's been happening, duh. Right. And the government's known about it for forever, duh. Right. And again, Age of Aquarius, or that something's going on. Again, I love a conspiracy too. Once I hear it, I love it. And like again, you're already talking to me, someone who believes and accepts aliens. So let's all grab our salt, okay, and pinch a grain. All right. My point is like there's a theory that the government is getting us more like numb to it, and that they're slowly releasing information to the public so that it's not just like one big like, yeah, we've known, and like there's not a mass panic, blah blah blah. But like that, for whatever reason, we need them. We need these aliens. We got to get on a team with them here or something. And that's why the government's like they're like allowing more things to be released. And this is all just TikTok drama. But
it's like my mom sneaking peas into my mac and cheese growing up because I refused to eat vegetables.
It's exactly like that, Heather.
Oh my God. Oh,
the C in Cancer does stand for conspiracy.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But yeah.
Well, no, that's very Capricorn from Aquarius, Pluto. Yeah. On the threshold of.
But what I wanted to also just add, Heather, is that what's so funny in a lot of those like alien videos is so many people in the comments will be like Age of Aquarius. Like, and like, I'm like, whoa. But then I'm like, oh, maybe we're onto something. Like,
oh my God, I love
just like the up leveling's happening. Like, like this is it. And like, yeah, it's
laugh now. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but
hey, please. Hey. No,
wow,
yeah,
this makes me want to get on TikTok. I think this is the thing. The aliens are gonna get me on TikTok.
And when I tell you I've never posted a TikTok in my life, but I'm on it every day. I have to give myself a timer on it. That's how like
wow.
I'm not on any other app the way I barely like Instagram. I get into like a mood with. Facebook I haven't been on in like years.
Oh my God, yeah.
and then I have to like go on months later and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just saw your happy birthday post. But yeah, like if TikTok is just, oh my God, I love it. It's a problem. It's a problem. But
Well,
with
it
that,
seems like you're
Heather,
learning a lot.
no, and then sharing it with you and all of our
Yeah,
listeners
yeah.
because it's all
So
very valuable, factual information. Um, but with that, Heather, shall we move into these Cancer charts?
yes, we shall. I'm excited.
And a couple of Cancer charts. These are going to be, huh, Heather? I say that with every sign, but
Yeah.
truly, I know both of these cancers specifically to sort of own. I guess maybe we'll get into yours
Yeah,
after, but like I'm like maybe I don't know that as much, but I'm definitely wasn't shocked to find out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But this cancer in a particular really owns her cancerness. Is very cancer forward. Has like joked about like why do cancers have to feel so much before? Little Miss Ariana Grande.
Aw.
She's like a very like one of my favorite songs. First of all, the Thank You Next album, iconic. It was huge for her career. It just like elevated her career, but also like I was never so much an Ariana Grande fan as I was a Mac Miller fan. I really love Mac Miller. And it is just it's truly still like when I think about if I think about it too long, I get very emotional about it too because it's just so tragic. It's really tragic. He accidentally overdosed. I believe was like the official coroner's report. And it was so sad. And it was like right after him and Ariana Grande broke up, or that their breakup was like kind of officially announced, and she had just gotten engaged to Pete Davidson, and she got so much shit for his death by trolls and stupid fucking idiots. Like I remember like it was like a thing that her and Pete had to like delete their or like turn comments off on like Instagram because they were getting so much hate and just bullshit from assholes. Anyways, but yeah, it's just to put out Thank You Next, like, and to have like a whole like that poor baby cancer had to go through Mac Miller's death, then the breakup with Pete, and then release Thank You Next and immediately went on tour. And she like even talked about that. She was like, I was just like drunk that whole time, just needed to get on tour. I needed to get on tour to get like out of my own reality. And it's like such an unfortunate, sad circumstance, but Thank You Next is one of the best fucking things ever created. That album as a whole for me is like no fucking skips. And my whole point to this was there's a song on there called Fake Smile, and Ariana's whole like lines with it are about like if I'm hurt I ain't gonna lie about it. Stop me.
No.
Like if I'm hurt I'm not gonna lie about it, arms crossed with the attitude, lips pouted. If I'm hurt I'm not gonna like lie about it, neck roll with the attitude. And like the whole song is like
so Cancer.
Like yes, and she's like, I can't fake another smile, I can't fake like I'm all right. Ooh. And then she's like, fuck a fake smile.
I love
like
that.
Yeah,
I love
and
that.
I saw her in concert for that tour, and like it was just she crushed it. That album is so, it was like a pop culture reset, but also like we were watching a cancer, someone who's very like in tune with their emotions, is very forward and upfront with their fans about getting their mental health checked and not always being in a good mental health state and going to therapy. And just like I love that Ariana Grande is her cancer. Like she doesn't hide from that. And I think like a lot of our society really shames people who are emotional or express emotion because it's like, oh, like hide your humanism. Like I don't, it's frustrating. And I like that Ariana Grande's whole messaging is like, no, fuck a fake smile, fuck that. Like I've been through shit, I'm not gonna lie about it. Like this is what it is. And I feel like we really watched her process her trauma in real fucking time. And as like, no, I don't think you have to always go through horrible trauma, but it is always like kind of incredible when like a lot of traumatic situations lead to incredibly good art. Like
right
not to praise that or think that that's obviously not the only way good art can be made,
of course,
but it is always like what a when things are out of your control in this human experience, right? And in this life, creativity, art, music, whatever that means to you, like it's always like it cannot be denied. It cannot not, I don't know. It's always interesting.
Yeah, I think that both of these Cancer celebrities have a great ability to take their emotions and then birth something like a Cancer
Yes.
and
Yeah.
nurture creativity through
Right.
those heavy feelings. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say one of my favorite songs that I listened to when I was going through a hard time is No Tears Left to Cry. I love that's a little bit more optimistic and upbeat, but
Yes.
I fucking love that song.
But then she even tweeted when all like a bunch of shit was going down. She was like, I really sang No Tears Left to Cry. And the universe was like, bitch, you thought. Like she also like Ariana Grande has an incredible ability to, she's got that Libra. Okay. So her big three, Heather, sorry, meant to say this earlier. She's a Cancer sun, Libra moon, and then Capricorn rising.
Triple
And
cardinal. Yeah, continue.
oh, a triple cardinal. Heather,
Yeah.
for the listeners who are new like me, would you please go into a little more detail about like cardinal signs and
Yeah,
what that means
yeah.
to be triple cardinal?
Yeah. So there's three modalities in astrology: cardinal, fixed, and mutable.
Right.
Cardinal kicks off the zodiac, so it has an initiatory energy. Aries is a cardinal sign. So
Mhm.
is every fourth sign after that. So Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are all cardinal. They all have this energy of like initiation. Don't always have the best follow through, but they're really good at like ideas and creative spark and getting things moving initially. And yeah, and if you have triple of a modality, like Ariana has triple cardinal signs in her big three, then your big three are all square to each other, which means that there's, even though they're all cardinal and you would think they get along, the energies are not harmonious at the same time because they're hitting each other at a 90-degree angle. So there's like a tension, but a creative tension with people like this, where a lot of times it's like energies are conflicting, and until there's so much tension that you just have to come up with a creative way to like bring it all together. And yeah, I
Wow.
really went
It
on a
makes sense
tangent,
of
but
it. No, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Like, yeah, like, no, exactly. Like, I don't even mean that was beautiful, Heather. Thank you for first of all explaining that more. Because I know that sometimes I think I remember all the layers to astrology and there's just so much.
There's
But
so
like the
much, there's so
cardinal,
much.
being reminded of cardinal signs, that's so interesting. And like we talk about all the time how a lot of times you can feel like at war with yourself and your signs. That's interesting to hear that it's like almost feels like her cardinal place or like her sign placement specifically, they're all like fighting to be in charge,
Yes,
maybe. And
yes.
like, but that's, and also just like yeah, I do just see such a, it's so, Ariana's chart, I feel like there is a balance to her. And that
Mhm.
Capricorn rising, for example, really shows like I think in like her work ethic, like she genuinely has one of the best voice of our
Oh my
generation
God. I mean,
of all time in terms
yeah.
of like like the divas.
Mhm.
And but then, and it's like she knows that too, like she's very grateful and understands it's a gift. And it's like, but it's also, it's like it feels like there's this energy of, and I'm not going to waste it and like put it to waste. But then yes, it was like thank you next also just got to like, it was this huge like creative expression and processing from a lot of trauma and just like really heavy shit going on in her life. But it's also like thank you next like elevated Ariana as an artist in terms of like she just kind of like got bigger than she already was.
Right, right.
And her strength, and also just like the relatableness of like seeing a human go through something as like a lot of like just shit she was going through. I don't like, she has a great ability of still being relatable, even though she's one of the biggest stars of all time. And she really gets vulnerable. And I just love that. I think that's
Mhm.
something really rare to see from someone at her level of fame,
Mhm.
and that she could still be treated and respected as one of the biggest divas of all time. But then also it's like, you feel like you can laugh with her and like be a friend with her too.
Totally.
Like she's got very down to earth, and she has an incredible balance of down to earth and diva. And again, the divaness is like well earned and deserved. And like,
Yeah.
I don't mean like her attitude or anything. Like
No,
I think she's very sweet and kind. She's a Cancer.
she
Like
always reads to me as a very sweet Cancer, Moon in
yeah,
Libra little darling. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
But yeah, her Libra moon, my God, I really see like seeing her chart and like being a fan of Ariana Grande. Like I'm like, damn, her chart actually is so like it's very in your face obvious once you understand the signs to me, like the
Yeah,
way it
yeah.
expresses.
And
Like
it's
all of her
interesting.
signs could not be clearer in the way they kind of show up in her. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
think so too. Yeah, she's also just like fucking gorgeous, which is
Mm-hmm.
very Libra moon. But it's interesting that like, you know, I know a lot of people who have like strong water placements and then a Libra moon, and the moon is emotion. So when you have moon in an air sign, well, you have this actually, you're a Pisces with Gemini moon.
Right.
I think that the air moon kind of helps you to not get so bogged down in the emotions. It's a good like ability to detach and intellectualize your feelings, even if you have a water sun. But in Ariana's case, the moon is right next to Jupiter, which Jupiter amplifies everything it touches. So like even her Libra moon, even though it's Libra and it's a little bit more detached, it's still felt in a major way. It's still amplified.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like she does a really good job of harnessing her emotions into art. And because there's a lot of Cancer celebrities who, the next person we talk to, who just like get into bad habits because they can't handle their emotions. Anyway,
No, yeah. Again,
and
I
it's a
think
hard industry. I mean,
yeah. Well, and her Capricorn placement specifically, then with
yeah,
being gifted one of the best voices from the heavens, like I
yes,
think it's like she's got a contract with herself. Like
mm-hmm.
it's I think she's very aware it could all like kind of go away in the blink of an eye, or like, you know, there's like a weirdly down to earth understanding, it feels like, that comes from her. And like and like you really see that in her relationship with her fans as well. She really cares so much about her fans. Yeah. Oh, and like
Yeah,
even like the Manchester, like she had a show in Manchester where there was the bombing incident, and then
holy
like she
shit,
went
I
right
know.
back and did like a tribute concert, and like that really like she sang about it on the following album, Speak Now, Jesus. Sweetener. I'm like, Taylor's always on the brain. Sweetener, she like has like a whole thing like dedicated, and like even when like I went to her concert, like the safety measures were so like insane. Like I can't imagine,
Oh my
obviously,
God.
and like her being a Cancer and knowing her chart too, and like that was not that long before then Mac died, and like that was, I
Yeah.
think that might have, I can't remember if that was all the same year or not, but yeah, just a lot. She just like, yeah, but then has this ability to, has that like human ability to still be able to like laugh at
Yeah.
herself,
Oh,
or like,
totally. I know.
and
She reminds
she's
me of
that
Charlie
this,
XCX like that.
yeah, she has a self-awareness. She's very, you know, there's a self-awareness that I feel like a lot of like people at that level of fame kind of, right, like not rightfully so, but understandably so, like gets lost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
She's always
yeah.
been grounded to me though, because she went to FLCT and did theater camp with a lot of people I grew up with, and was in the brochure at the Fort Lauderdale Galleria Mall, and dated my friend from high school. Anyway, so I know also from personal accounts that she's very kind and grounded.
Yeah,
But
the Florida girl.
Florida girl. But yeah, I want to say about this chart too that like, okay, Pluto's in the 10th opposite Venus. Pluto is the most intense planet, and it's in the house of like the public and career, which I think is interesting, that she has had a lot of these intense public experiences.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear and say that I do think we all have free will, and you know, it's just that we are also, I think, made from the environment that we're born into and that we're living
Right.
in. But yeah, there's a lot in this chart that does have like a quote unquote fated quality, like Neptune and Uranus right up on her ascendant, and Pluto in the 10th gives an almost like she's I don't know, she's a public figure for a reason. Maybe she's meant to inspire
It was in
us.
the
And
stars.
yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I just, yeah, I feel like the universe looks over these charts carefully before delivering certain gifts.
Miss Ariana to Boca Raton, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. Um, yeah, and it's interesting. Like the most latest thing I've kind of seen from her, because she's in the new Wicked movie, and they're currently
Right.
filming for it. She plays Glenda, right? No,
Yeah,
she
she
plays.
does.
Okay, yes, and oh my God.
And
She
Kristen Chenoweth like endorsed that, which I
yes.
love.
Yes, incredible. And Ari started as like a little Broadway baby, and then worked her way into Nickelodeon, and then is who she is now, yada yada. But she did have to, like, I guess fans were worried about like her weight. It looks like she's like lost a lot of weight. She's already like tiny. She's very petite, tiny girl, like just her natural build. But I guess like it looked like she has just been like fans were just concerned, and I guess enough to where she like felt the need, which is just sad again that like this was like a pressure she felt she had to do. But I also kind of love how she again did it in her very Cancer balance chart sort of cardinal way, I believe. Like she was just kind of like, I appreciate y'all like looking out for me and being concerned, but I think like we all need to be a little more uncomfortable with how comfortable we are when we like comment on, like, just thinking we have the right to comment on people's bodies. And she's like, because the body, I guess people were like, look how she looked during Thank You Next. And she's like, the body that you're referring to that you think I looked healthier at was when I was drinking all the time, and I was drinking on antidepressants, and I was not like I was eating a lot of junk food and fast food and just not caring about what I was putting into my body. And so like, I just kind of love how she said that. It wasn't just like it was completely opposite of like, fuck you. Because honestly, she had every right to be like, shut the fuck up. Like,
absolutely.
My fucking body, my fucking choice. Don't comment on it. Like, if you're a fan, like, but she really went the route of like that Cancer way of like the understanding and the empathy of like where her fans are coming from, and like that stardom that of like respecting your fans or still being polite to your fans, because it's like there is a gratitude that she has and knows that like she wouldn't be there without them. But I do think there's like a line of like the internet really makes it so that you can just kind of talk directly to your heroes and like your favorite celebrities in a way that I don't think is always healthy for them, and like puts a lot of shit into their head. And I just really love how she handled that. And she's 100%, first of all, right. We do live in an age where I think we're just all really comfortable like commenting on like people's bodies, especially on when you can hide behind a screen, yada yada. But like, she really made it about it's like, thank you for being concerned for me. Here's the thing with me, not that I even should have to explain this, but also like, you never know what someone's going through. So like that and then and then also gave them a little like gift of like, in the future, like when you're thinking about this, I don't know, it was just very classy to me, but also like the empathy behind it, and like she was still sweet while she did it, and like just it felt like it was a genuine trying to just have a hey, like human to human. I don't know.
I love that.
Selena Gomez is very similar as well, and also
we'll
a
talk
Cancer.
about her. Yep.
Sorry, just wanted to add that I was like, who it reminds me of? It's like Selena with her fans of like preaching, kindness, be gentle. I just love it. I love the messages.
Open
about
I love them
health.
both.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with that, Heather, sorry, I know I tangented quite a bit there on little Miss Ari. But shall we hop in? Or well, before we hop into our next Cancer chart, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think we covered it all. I think let's hop in.
Let's hop on in. Do the honors. Give her to us.
Yes. What a very iconic, legendary Cancer. Rock star Courtney Love.
Yes.
Which to me is so very Cancer sun and Cancer moon, Libra rising. So we also have a triple cardinal thing here. Born on a new moon. And wow, double Cancer. I had the privilege of seeing Courtney Love live a few years ago, and I will never forget it. Because
incredible.
I feel like I saw her Cancer, and I feel like I saw not that all Cancers are messy, but water is messy. I mean, water is literally it's liquid.
Right.
And it was just so funny because
it's messy in a way we all should be.
Exactly. I mean, that's part of life. That's part of being human. Yeah, no, I agree. I love the mess. But yeah, oh my God. So we saw Courtney Love at this like all female music festival, and she was like preaching to everyone about how she's sober and how she like finally loves herself and like how happy she is to be like in such a good mental place and yada yada yada. And then the whole time she was screaming at the band. She was like, I just love myself. I'm so happy for once. I wish you could all be like on, you know, feeling how I feel. Like, can you pick up the beat, drummer? Like it was we all were like, holy shit. Like the band seemed like so over it. And it
Oh
was
my God, that's
nonstop. She was like, hello,
hysterical.
volume. Like, can we pick it up? Like, hello. In between being like,
Oh
I just
my
love
God.
myself at last.
Jesus, that is so funny and messy.
I
That's
know.
so Courtney Love.
That's such an icon. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. But wow, I double Cancer. It's interesting. Being double of a sign, I think in a way is like easier and in a way must come with its challenges as
Right.
well.
Yeah. I was gonna
Uh
say.
because
Well,
the
and like,
energies are getting along, but it's like a double dose of water.
right. So it's like you're a little less at war with yourself, but maybe more at war with others. Just kidding.
Right. Yeah,
But
honestly.
well, and something too, Heather, and I know I said this before we started, like it almost feels like you can't talk about Courtney without talking about Kurt, but I
Yeah.
only mean that from an astrology sense because he was Pisces sun, Cancer moon, and
Yeah.
just double water. Not of the
Yeah.
exact same sign, obviously, but like, and then of course, like their relationship and it's in all of its pop culture reference glory. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, God, they never stood a chance. Or just like, yeah,
I know they need some grounding. They need some earth, some
yeah,
air detachment. The Libra
she's
rising's not
clearly
enough.
attracted to water, or like,
Right.
like that's
Yeah.
like what she's drawn to, what she knows. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
interesting. Sorry, go on.
But you know,
Not
a
to make it
legend
about
and an
Kurt.
icon nonetheless. Yeah. Did you know I was reading her biography? She was like a stripper when she was 16.
Oh shit.
Can you believe that? I have a feeling she had a tough childhood and
16? Is that can you legally be a stripper at 16?
I don't know.
Maybe,
That's what I
I guess
read.
what year? Yeah.
Biography.com. I don't
Was
know.
she lied about her
Maybe
age? Or, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
I know, really sad. I feel like there's Neptune in the first house is a tough one. I feel like I said that in one of our recent episodes. It's tough because it's like the planet in Scorpio, like the planet of Pisces that is all about like the emotions, but like the nebulous, confusing
Mm,
emotions where you just want to like escape. And she
right.
has that in the first house of identity in trine the sun and the moon. I don't know. It's in conversation with so many of our other planets.
Right.
Yeah, this is kind of like reminding me of Marilyn Monroe a little bit of like it's a
Mm,
bit of like a sad it's or I don't want to say a chart is sad, but it's a heavy one.
yeah. Well, and it's a heavy one on its own, but then it's also to be
Knowing
famous, to be in this human
yeah.
experience, but on a weird kind of detached human experience, as is like most famous people. I feel like, and that's like the whole reason we bring them up on the pod. First of all, it's just because it's always interesting, obviously, to like know a celebrity and then to just sort of dig a little deeper into their details and like what
Mm-hmm.
makes their chart. But like, again, I think all of these celebrities are almost going to be on more extreme versions or extreme, representations of
Exactly.
their charts because they're celebrities. They're
They're living
famous. They're
extreme lives.
right.
Yeah. They can't, not even by choice. It's they're
Right.
put
It's the
into.
nature of the experience. Yeah. No, yeah,
Yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
hear that, Heather. So it's a heavy chart to have, and then to be in this sort of limelight and to be this kind of performer and to just a lot of heavy shit that's happened in her life and
Mm-hmm.
then like in front of people.
Yeah. But I have to say, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, I really find comfort in the messiness of water, but especially like Cancer. I don't know. There's like a coziness and a comfort that I feel just
Right.
like when a Cancer gets drunk and has a little breakdown, and it makes me feel
Yeah.
better about myself because I'm like, look how human you are. Look how human I can be with you. This is so fun.
That's so funny, Heather. Courtney Love.
Yeah. The thing that's interesting too about the Libra rising is, the rising sign is supposed to show you like what you're supposed to lead with in life. It's like the
Right.
path you walk and also the energy you should embrace if you want to synthesize the entire chart. And yeah, with Libra rising in Courtney Love's case, it's interesting because the what she's supposed to really embrace to bring all of her energy together and be healthy is the Libra idea of balance. And it seems like that is tough for her. And I find that often the rising sign is a tougher one to integrate. And I don't think people talk about that enough. But yeah, Courtney could have
Interesting.
used a bit more balance and she went for another water sign. Oh my God.
Yeah, would you say that you tap more into rising like as the years progress and as you grow and progress? Like I feel like so much of like to me it makes sense that the rising is sign is harder to tap into, so to speak, just because your moon and your sun, they're kind of like cohesive in the way that like the sun is like more of the outward personality, the moon is more of like your personality with you, so to speak. I know I'm being very vague with it. That
Yeah.
might not even be the right kind of saying.
No, you're right.
But like, and then rising is kind of this like, out there thing that like I think does take a minute to, at least in my experience, tap more into or feel more
Totally.
connected to.
Yeah. I think it's a case by case thing. I think like some people have like their sun trine, they're, forming a harmonious aspect with the rising, and in that way it's like a little bit easier. But the rising sign it's not a planet. We're born with
That's right.
planets in certain positions. The sun is the brightest. It's yeah, the moon
Interesting.
is very they're both felt very personally. The rising,
Right.
it's just a point in the chart. It's not a planet. So it's much
Ah,
harder, I think, to tap into just in general. But I think that yeah, I think it probably does take time to integrate. It's probably easier after the Saturn return, I want to say. I don't know. I haven't been there yet in my life. So,
interesting.
but I imagine, yeah, like I heard that the ego isn't even fully developed until you're 30. So it would make sense to me that it's easier to like bring all of your, synthesize your whole chart after 30 years old. But I
Interesting.
also think that we naturally, from just what I've observed with people, I think we do like life kind of puts us back in the rising sign path. Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Interesting. That's really interesting, Heather.
Yeah.
No, I'm
But
just, as you touched on that, I was like, oh, again, I relate a little, I think.
I think, yeah.
Oh, Courtney
Yeah.
Love, come on the pod. Ari, Sissy, Grande, get on up here.
Yeah.
Chat with us. Let's get into the feels. Let's get vulnerable with it, babies.
That would be a fun one.
That
Ari
would.
and Courtney Love on the
Together.
podcast.
Ari
It'd be
and Court
interesting.
together again. Um, Beautiful.
Yeah.
Heather. So, in terms of we're in these Cancer throes, we're in the middle of Cancer feely season, right? What's going on in these Cancer skies coming up?
Yeah. Well, right at the beginning of Cancer season, we have the Capricorn full moon.
Mm.
Which is a really good checking in point with we started the year during Capricorn season.
Ah,
And now we're in Cancer, which is on that Capricorn Cancer axis. So we're kind of returning back to those goals we had at the beginning of the year, those themes. And it's a good chance to, father yourself and to think about, okay, what earthy things do I need to tackle in order to have that Cancer water comfort and nourishment.
man.
And there's a few other things happening. There is wait for it. Yeah, on okay. So yeah, this week the sun in Cancer is traveling with Mercury very close together, and Mercury is the mental planet of communication and thinking. It rules Gemini and also Virgo. And so with the sun traveling through Cancer, traveling with this mental planet of Mercury, there could be moments of just new insights when it comes to how you deal with your emotions. It's really a good opportunity to think about your emotions, to think about what you need to nurture yourself emotionally, and you might have new insights and new mental awareness around that. That's most
Wow.
pronounced on July 1st. And
Wow.
then, and then on July 2nd, we have Venus and Leo is going to form a square, so a 90-degree angle to Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus is changes, sudden disruption, but also insights. And Venus is what we value and what we're attracted to and how we love. And it's in Leo, which is a very much a self-love sign. So yeah, again, there could be new insights with this energy as well as to how do I love myself? How am I loving others? How do I bring more love into my life? And they say that it could also just manifest in like crazy disruptions and surprises, but
Wow.
ultimately it's two good planets in Taurus and Leo, so it's hopefully going to ground us and reconnect us with ourselves and our self-love. And yeah, then that full moon in Capricorn on July 3rd. So a good checking in week.
Yeah.
It's all about taking care of ourselves, but also thinking about how we can progress, how we can take healthy measures to evolve and make the changes we want in our lives.
Oh my God, Heather. This I can't speak for the listeners, but holy shit, this episode spoke to me. I mean, selfishly, you're hitting all my points. This is
I love.
wow. Yeah. I love yeah. Just thank you so much for sharing. I'm looking forward to it personally. Listeners, we hope you're looking forward to it as well. We got some chaotic Cancer energy, baby, but it's all for the greater good.
It is.
All right, bear with it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Cuddle with your blanket, give yourself a hug.
Yes, mother
nice
and
meal.
father yourself. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta nurture that little inner child. All right. Gotta play both parts. All
Both
right.
parts.
Oh, beautiful. Heather, I love you so much.
I love you so much. So much.
Listeners, we love you. We're wishing you a happy Cancer season.
Happy Cancer.
And all the infinite abundance that you can get your little grubby Cancer claws on.
Yes.
Speaking for myself. Infinite abundance.
Infinite abundance. Bye,
Love
Miranda. Bye,
you.
listeners. All the love.
Bye, angels.
Bye.